Apparently, the Chicago Bears said, why wait for the regular season for there to be drama, stakes, and all types of shit going on with the team? Because on top of losing Darnell Wright to injury, and we'll talk a little bit about that, Gervon Dexter leaving practice, and also Gervon Dexter trade talks. We're going to talk about all that, plus Jordan Vandenberg getting first-team reps and how that actually plays in to the Gervon Dexter trade talks as well, and Braxton Jones still somehow leading the left tackle battle. We're talking about all that, plus the takeaways of yesterday's practice, the final open practice to the public. We're going to talk about all that plus more right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. I want to start off with the takeaways. We'll get into the drama. We'll get into the trade talk. I promise you, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to start talking about what happened with the Chicago Bears in training camp yesterday, because there are a number of takeaways, and many people already know. The Darnell Wright, he went down with the injury. He was flexing his elbow, the same elbow he suffered a torn UCL on last season. Now, reportedly, though, if the fact that he was able to flex it does show that it may not be anything major in regards to it. We'll see, right? We'll see what is going to happen for that. But hearing any type of injury to Darnell Wright is just not good and not where the Chicago Bears need to be right now. Darnell Wright is a player on the team we have no replacement for, period, point blank. We're already trying to get over our woes at the left tackle position, much less being able to do that also at the right tackle, where we had Darnell Wright, who we just extended on top of all of that. So, reportedly he went to the sideline in a period, it just sucks. It sucks. Like, hopefully there is nothing negative in regards to Darnell Wright happening, and, they'll do a scan. Hopefully it's something like a strain, and they probably just sit out the remaining of training camp and preseason and be ready to go by week one. Like, at this point, we're where we are right now with one preseason game left to go, only a few weeks away from the start of the season. Do not risk anything at all with any of your players and any of your major rotation players. We can't afford that. We don't want to afford that. We don't want to do it. That's basically what it comes down to. So if Darnell Wright did suffer any semi-serious injury, just sit his ass down. Like, and let's just get over that part. Like, the offensive line was really good. It was a bonus for the Chicago Bears last season. We had one of the best offensive lines in football, which it seems like a lot of people have forgotten about that. Like, it really does. Like, I see so many comments on the channel recently about, oh, well, why haven't we ever done? The offensive line continues to be a problem. It's like, did y'all forget we just are coming off the season? We had one of the best offensive lines in football. And for a big chunk of that season, Braxton Jones was the starter, as was Theo Benedict. So it's like, calm down, right? Like, I get it. It's preseason. Everything gets maximized, especially when it's injuries for the Chicago Bears based off how this preseason has gone for us already. So I understand that, but we'll see what's going to happen for that one and what also happened. So let's just calm down. Darnell Wright, he was one of 4 players that left practice with injuries yesterday. Gervon Dexter also was pulled because of an injury. But then also Dante Manning, the quarterback, and Hayden Large, the tight end, also left practice early because of injuries. So there you have in that one. But in the positive side of it, rookie Jordan Vandenberg, had first team reps yesterday alongside Grady Jarrett. And we already have talked many times about how Jordan Vandenberg has made a strong case to be in the rotation this year. Now, how does that play in with the Gervon Dexter trade rumors and all that? We'll talk a little bit about it. But yesterday, Gervon Dexter exited practice early, and so it was Jordan Vandenberg who saw those first team reps. And Adam Hogue reported this. Before Thursday's practice, Ben Johnson praised Jordan Vandenberg, saying that he's a beast. He's an incredible athlete. He has been the same guy every single day. It's a good thing to see right now. He's firmly in the mix. Now, Ben Johnson also talked about the interior of the defensive line being a strength for the Chicago Bears team. We talked about Jaden Loving as well, and that's another player that's made a very strong case for him to be on the final 53-man roster. So the Bears are going to have some tough decisions to make, because as it stands right now, right, without the trades or anything, you got Gervon Dexter, you got Grady Jarrett, you got Jaden Loving, you got Neville Gallimore, you got James Lynch, you got Jordan Vandenberg. That's 6 defensive tackles. Most teams don't carry 5 defensive tackles. So the Bears are going to have to make some tough decisions. Now, the reported, trade talks with Gervon Dexter could make that a little bit more, that picture a little bit clearer. And you hope that, whatever happens there, but we'll see. We'll talk, like I said, we'll talk about the Gervon Dexter thing. Cam Lewis also worked exclusively opposite Dylan Thieneman as a starter, which is really good. When the Chicago Bears signed Cam Lewis this offseason, we knew that we were getting a very versatile defensive back. He could play at safety, he could play at cornerback, he can play in the nickel, he can do all those type of things. And now, with all the injuries that we have on this team, that signing is looking smarter every day. With Kobe Bryant now being out, who's going to miss 4 to 6 months after that knee surgery, Cam Lewis worked exclusively opposite Dylan Thieneman with the first-team defense during Tuesday's practice as well. Lewis started at the nickel corner this summer while Kyler Gordon was out, but that now seems to be taken over by Malik Muhammad, who's on the physically unable to perform list. So it seems like right now Cam Lewis is that guy that the Chicago Bears are lining up to be opposite. We'll see, right? Because we've heard that Xavier Woods had some really good, strong practices too, but the Bears may want to bring in Xavier Woods as the depth piece because he can play either position, and we'll see what's going to happen with that. But this is going to be another situation that's going to need a resolution sooner rather than later because the start of the season is right around the corner. Like, we are bumping right up against the start of the season for the Chicago Bears. And so, with this last preseason game coming, on Saturday and getting out of the way, at that point, you need to start solidifying your rotation, your starters, your depth chart, all that type of stuff. So, we 3 days away from playing against the Tennessee Titans. After that, September 13th, that's when we take on the Carolina Panthers to open up our season. And of course, you're going to need to know your starters. We're going to have to whittle down the roster by then, too. So some of these decisions are going to start coming really fast for the Chicago Bears. One of the decisions as well is left tackle. And now reportedly as well is that Braxton Jones still is considered right now the front runner for the left tackle position. Ben Johnson said this in regards to left tackle. I don't know that we're 100% sold on who that guy is going to be in Carolina for us. And so, that's there. But for what it's worth, Braxton continues to work with the first team offense, right? And so, Ozzie Trapillo, who's, going to probably be placed on injury reserve to start off the season, Trapillo, for what it's worth, was in pads on Tuesday's practice, but he still did not participate in team drills, which means Trapillo's just going along that recovery and rehab process. He's moving along it really good, which is exactly what you want to see and what you want to hear. And so I do think we could see a repeat of what we saw last season. That's Braxton Jones wins the job, and then, he was replaced by Theo Benedict, who then was replaced by Ozzie Trapillo. But this time, Braxton Jones could win the starting left tackle role, but he's only keeping that seat warm until Ozzie Trapillo is fully healthy, and the Bears feel like he's ready to go and start again, and then we'll see what's going to happen there. Reportedly as well, DeAndre Swift and Rome Odunze had very impressive days from practice. This is important for those two guys as they're, Rome's heading into year 3 right along with Caleb Williams, right? You want to see Rome make that necessary step. He started off last season extremely strong, then of course got hurt. He was never the same after that. DeAndre Swift had his best career year as far as production-wise in the stat sheet last season, and that's really good. Reportedly during the 7-on-7 period, DeAndre Swift had 3 or 4 runs that went for nice gains in regard to that one. And during the red zone drill, he also ran for a 14-yard touchdown. That one came from Adam Johns. Greg Bragg said this, that Swift looked very sharp in camp this year, and that he'd probably be the MVP of training camp, if not for Colston Loveland, who already had a dominant summer as well. So it seems like DeAndre Swift is really start having a very impressive camp, and that's exactly what you want to see from DeAndre Swift, because him and Kyle Monangai, hopefully they're going to take this running game a step further than what they did as well. And so, Rome Odunze also reportedly has been flying under the radar, of course, with all the hype around Luther Burden. According to Matt Zahn, he said the offense had its share of struggles, but Odunze had a good day, and that his connection with quarterback Caleb Williams was on full display, including a touchdown on a 3rd and 1 in a red zone period and an over-the-middle 30-yard gain on 3rd and 10. So, the thing with the chemistry with Caleb and Rome is what really needs to work and improve on, right? And so you want to see that. Like the natural chemistry you had with Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, you didn't have quite the same completion percentage and the quarterback rating when targeted Rome Odunze. If we can get that together, that's going to be really good for the Chicago Bears also. So it's good to hear that those two guys are having really strong days in training camp, because as we get closer and closer to the start of the season, hey, man, it's time. It's really time to start seeing this, and a lot of Bears fans are going to be excited too. Now, with that, I do want to talk about the trade talk. We'll talk about the regression thing because I want to spend some time on the regression talk just a little bit, but I want to talk about the Gervon Dexter and things there, right? Okay, so we heard yesterday, according to Zool, that Gervon Dexter is on the trade block. Now, we don't know that that's the case for sure. Right now, it's a rumor. Of course, it got picked up by Bears outlets and things like that, and that's gonna it's gonna do its cycles, right? Gervon Dexter has been a solid starting defensive tackle. That's it. But as we've said before, you're not gonna move Grady Jarrett. That's not gonna be there. If Jordan Vandenberg, if the hype around Vandenberg is real, and the Bears feel like Vandenberg is one of them ones, and that could be the case here, it means that the Bears could be taking this and looking at it holistically. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking at Gervon Dexter and like, oh, you're trash, get up out of here, because that's not going to be something that you're going to get a lot back for anyway. It could be that the team is taking trade talk calls on Gervon Dexter because they know and they're looking at the tea leaves and saying, we're probably not going to be able to extend this guy, right? That's the more kind of fair view on it, right? Teams explore, teams do value, teams look at those type of things. And if the Bears are seriously ready and willing to move it, that does tell you something about their long-term evaluation, not only of Gervon Dexter, but also possibly in Jordan Vandenberg, right? The contract question is the biggest overarching thing that you're looking at in this right now. So when you're looking at the reasons why trading Gervon Dexter could make sense, he's entering the final year of his rookie scale contract. And if you're not paying him, guess what? Don't wait until everybody knows you're not paying him and the value is gone. Even if you are considering paying him, but you think that the price tag may be too high, you want to take a look at around the league on what you can possibly get back for value or a missing piece on this team, right? So that the Bears are just doing their due diligence in the sense that you don't wait till a player's value is low and everybody knows you have to move that player to try to move them. Good front offices don't just collect talent. They make hard decisions before those decisions become expensive and become necessary, right? So there are reasons in why trading Gervon Dexter makes sense. It's getting the value now before everybody kind of knows. It's also because you have a young guy, Jordan Vandenberg, who you feel may be ready and well ahead of schedule and be exactly what you need on that team. And it could be at the simple fact that you may just not be able to afford him with where your team's going and the contracts that you're about to have. Hell, we just talked the other day about the Bears possibly extending DeAndre Swift, right? And on top of Caleb Williams' extension coming. So therefore, you're doing that. Now, let's flip it, right? Because I like to talk about both sides of every argument. Why trading Gervon Dexter could not be the move right now? You're a contending team. Like, this Chicago Bears team is a contending team. You got into the playoffs last year. You won your division. You were a better call away from Ben Johnson from possibly going to the NFC Championship game. So I think now, this is a position that you're worried about, right? It's the defensive line. So taking away talent from the defensive line, especially when Ben Johnson just talked about that it could be a position of strength for the Chicago Bears, that just doesn't make sense to do. So your solution shouldn't necessarily be trading a 24-year-old who's a perfectly fine starting caliber defensive tackle. But you better have a plan if you're going to do that. And that plan, it could be Jordan Vandenberg. It could be the combination of Jordan Vandenberg and Jaden Loving. The fact that you guys feel really good about those two guys and what they can bring to this team. And if you feel like you have two young guys that are going to be on rookie scale contracts that you don't have to pay, and you feel like they both combine, replace, or even exceed the production of Gervon Dexter, then you trade his ass, right? Now, I will say this. It's the run defense part of it that makes Gervon Dexter scarier, right? That's where you want to get back into what we talked about on yesterday's show. Everyone talks about the pass rush, right? And we see it. But again, if opponents are consistently getting, are creating 2 and 4 situations, 3rd and 2 situations, all that type of thing, the play action, the quick game, if you do that and you're unleashing, and that's set up by the run game, that's where it matters, right? Because Gervon Dexter, and sometimes those early downs and how he doesn't get victory in the run game on those early downs, that matters into how you build a team. And that's what the Chicago Bears could be looking at this situation with, and why it could be telling that they could be looking to trade Gervon Dexter. It's a lot of reasons that go into it. And a lot of real good football reasons that make sense on why you may want to explore that. That's just the reality of it. This is football. You have to make tough decisions in football, especially when contracts are a thing, especially when you have a franchise quarterback who's about to start being paid like one. All those type of things are there. And so when you have those things that are coming, you need to future forecast. You need to look forward into what's going to be in the future. And if you don't do that, that's where you can find yourself behind the 8 ball. So that's what I've taken, taking the 12 hours or whatever it's been since we did the live stream, talking about the Gervon Dexter part of it. It just comes down to, it may be the perfect and the right decision and the necessary decision that you have to make now so that it doesn't become one that you don't get the most value for later. Now, we haven't heard that anything's possible. We haven't heard any teams. We haven't heard any offers. Hell, we haven't even heard exactly what the Chicago Bears would want back for Gervon Dexter. I know many people are going, send him and let's get Max Crosby, which, okay, cool. If that's what you like, I'm not mad at anybody who has that mindset. We don't know exactly what the Bears are valuing in that. We just don't know. So we'll see what's going to happen. If something does, it could not materialize into the trade deadline. This could be something that could be going on for months or more. So don't expect a resolution to it necessarily right away just because the rumor came out yesterday. But we'll see what's going to happen for that. And the Bears, they're going to have to do what they need to do with everything. Let's make the best decision for your team, not just in the now, but also in the future, keeping everything together and everything in mind. And let's see what's going to happen with it. All right, moving on from that, I want to talk about the regression talk around the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been consistently predicted to be one of the teams to regress this upcoming season. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. A lot of things go into it. The fact that the Bears defense survived off takeaways, the fact that the Chicago Bears offense survived itself off a lot of comeback attempts, all those things are good, right? And so the question that's surrounding the Bears right now isn't just about can the Bears become good. It's that are the Bears good enough to seriously or to be taken seriously now coming into a fresh season? That's what many people are asking, right? And I think when you look at it, this is the inflection point, the tension point between national media conversation, pundits trying to write articles to garner headlines, and the reality of football. That's just it, right? I think that there are cases to argue for both sides, right? One side could easily say, hey, we finally have a quarterback, we have a coach, we have the weapons, we have the offensive identity. Stop being scared of big expectations for the team. That's what you can say. The other side of it can say the team won a lot of close games. We had injury concerns. We still have injury concerns. We have depth problems. We have problems in getting to the pass rush, and we can't ignore the warning signs that this team could regress. And I think that's the opening of it, right? I think Bears fans, this is what happens when a rebuild is over. Nobody is patting this team on the back for just being competitive anymore. And that's the spot that you want to be in. You don't want to be, oh, cool, that's cute, you're competitive. You don't want to be that. The Bears have Caleb Williams. The Bears have Ben Johnson. The Bears have explosive offensive weapons. They have a roster that people now look at and say it should be taken seriously. So that's where you get, the fiery response from Bears fans. All that's there. I think when you start with the offensive side of the ball, right? In Ben Johnson's first year with Caleb Williams, the Bears scored 441 points, the third most in franchise history. That's why when we talk about this Bears team making an offensive leap or saying things like this could be a Bears offense that we've never seen in Chicago before, this type of offense, right? And we rank second in the NFL with 127 explosive plays for whatever that's worth. That's not just fluke level offensive foundation. That's a real offensive foundation, and it's proof that the Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson pairing stresses defenses, and with all the weapons that we have around it, it gives you a lot to sell. Caleb, Rome, Luther, Colson Loveland, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, the offensive line, the depth, right? All those type of things. It's real. And so therefore, there is it but the thing I think that you also have to say in this Bears team is too good offensively now to have to win ugly every single week. That's just it. We have the offensive firepower to win shootouts. We have the quarterback that can erase mistakes and the coach that can create answers for this team. But at the same time, there is a case, in fairness, that the Bears could regress. And this is where I have to bring balance to this conversation. Ben Johnson himself leaned on the skepticism. He said this, we're the number one regression candidate. That's what came from Ben Johnson, right? That's Ben Johnson. We are the number one regression candidate. And so that the concern around the Chicago Bears isn't just people hating on Chicago. It's not just that, right? There is legitimate concern around if this team can take it a step further. What have I said a lot this offseason? It's about showing that you can win in more consistent fashion than just the takeaways, just the late game comebacks, like those type of things. Great teams win close games. That's there. But elite teams stop needing to be in close games. And that's where you have to see. At this point, you have to judge Caleb Williams like a star, not just a young quarterback. That's part of the judgment. Ben Johnson's offense has to become more efficient and not just explosive. Explosive players are great, but we need to be more efficient down and down in how we do things, and that's what we have to do. Then also, I think that the NFC gives the Chicago Bears a real window here. The Eagles, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Lions are all part of conference conversations. They all are there, but none of them should scare Chicago at all. They just should not scare Chicago because we have Caleb Williams and he's becoming that guy. So that doesn't mean you can't lose to those teams. You can lose to a lot of them. But I also think injuries are a big early season threat to this team, as they have been. The secondary issues, especially for a defensive coordinator and play caller and Dennis Allen and how he likes to do it, you just can't overlook those things. You can't, right? So the Chicago Bears have to prove this season that they have an actual identity. And it's not just magic. It's not just comeback magic. It's not just turnovers. It's that. We have to prove that we are a real NFC contender. But that's why the games are played. And that's why I have so much faith in what this team can be and so much faith in this team, because let's go out here and let's prove it on the football field. All that talking, all that yapping, all that shit is fine. But when we get into the lines, all those writers, all those ESPN analysts, all those people that have been throwing hate and doubt on the Chicago Bears, they're either going to be vindicated or they're going to have to eat those words. And it's up for us to prove them and make them eat those words. So see if the Bears can do it. But that's going to do it for today's episode, man. Make sure you guys sound off in the comment section down below on everything. How do you feel about the takeaways from training camp? How do you feel about the Gervon Dexter trade news? How do you feel about the regression talk around the Chicago Bears? Sound off down below on that. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode or at all that we drop. You can follow us at Shy Bear Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.